Hi, everybody. Happy Friday night, TGIF. It is the 135th Monica Makes It Happen Facebook show. Thanks for watching. And I hope the ladies are watching tonight. I hope the men are watching too. Please share and like this show. If you're looking for a job, and ladies, you want to get paid, don't we all want to get paid what we're worth and even more? I want to be like, you know what, Claire, I want to say someday, God, I'm getting paid so much more than I'm worth. Just want to feel that way for once. And Claire has the answers to all of this. She is the founder of an organization called Ladies Get Paid, an organization that focuses on career, salary negotiation, professional development. That means getting a job. So if you're watching this right now and you're feeling kind of down about the workplace, whether you want to get elevated or you want to get another job or you just need a job, this is a show for you. We're going to answer all your questions live. I'm going to be watching. Ellen, Amanda, my producers, are going to be watching. We're so happy to have you, Claire, because there is this shocking statistic that 1 out of 4 women, at 4 times the women, are dropping out of the workforce. Now, you were asking the question, why? We don't know why it's happening, but we know it's happening more to women. And if you have lost your job and you're watching this and you're just feeling really down about it, here's Claire. Claire is joining us now, not just with a book. I see all the books behind you, but with some practical advice to get you back into that workforce. Look at that. Ladies Get Paid. I love that it's all pink. Right off the bat, Claire, what made you start something like this? Ladies Get Paid.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I was reading about the wage gap. I was reading about the fact that Hispanic women make 55 cents to the dollar. I was so disgusted by this. Of course, then the question was, well, as an individual, what can you possibly do to combat something that's so systemic? The only thing I could think of was, number one, we have to talk about money. Okay, we've got to normalize this conversation that normally it's kind of uncomfortable. Number two, we have to negotiate our salaries. That is the only way that we are going to ensure that we are at least closing our own wage gap. That's a first step. That's not a last step, but that's where this all began.
Yeah. Now, Vask just, I love you, Vask. You're watching. She says, now you're talking. Everybody wants to talk about money. It is one of the most important things. And let's just get it out there. We are going to talk all about money, how you can increase your earning potential and get a job during a very tough time. Now, since you're such an expert here on this, what's the one thing that we're doing wrong as women? If we're watching, what's the one thing that we can correct almost right away?
I don't think we're doing anything wrong. I think we are in a system that is not made for or by us. So anytime that we have self-doubt, that imposter syndrome, right? The perfectionism, we often internalize it. This must be my fault. It's not. Now, does that mean there isn't stuff you can do? No, we're going to do things. We're going to make sure that we know our value and that we're articulating it consistently. We're going to make sure that we are setting boundaries, that we are protecting our sanity, okay? That we're not going to get burnt out. And sometimes that means saying no, and sometimes that means saying yes. So going for opportunities that maybe scare you a little bit. There are statistics that say that men apply for jobs if they meet just 60% of the requirements, where women feel like they need to have 100% of the requirements in the job description. That's a time when we need to be saying yes. So we can do that. We can do that.
I love it. And I love the scaring part, like, because everything kind of scares me at this age. I'm like, God, do I really want to do this change, this change, this change? But I love that. If it scares you, then maybe do it. Like, why not just do it? And I think Gail King, I love Gail King. She always says, if you're so scared, or who is it that says if you're peeing a little bit, that's how scared you are, then do it, because you're challenging yourself, and you should be challenging yourself every single day. What are some of the common challenges that women face in the workplace, and then how do we overcome them?
Yeah,
there's your website. There it is.
Yeah, there's my website. There's internal challenges, and then there's the external challenges, right? So in order to advocate for yourself, you have to first deeply believe that you're worthy of advocacy. And I'm actually not talking about confidence, because a lot of us have confidence. I think the actually issue is we wonder, am I as good as I've presented myself to be, right? People are looking at me like I'm an expert, but am I an expert? Should I be in this meeting? Do I dare speak up, right? This fear of taking risk. Then, of course, there's the perfectionism, right? We are so hard on ourselves. That's the internal. External is the people who, it's called sponsorship. So people in leadership, people who have influence, they like to help people who remind them of themselves. Okay. So let me give you an example. And we need those people, right? In order to advocate for ourselves, we have to get other folks to believe in us and to amplify us. But if the people in leadership, the people of influence tend to be white men, right? Pale and male, they're probably going to bond more easily with a guy that reminds them of themselves. So what happens? We are stuck without those advocates that are up top that can pull us along. So we have to be more proactive. And that includes, right, playing some office politics, the internal networking that happens. Oftentimes we think my work will speak for itself. No, you have to speak on behalf of your work. So again, I think it's twofold, the internal obstacle, but also not feeling like you have support at work, let alone the burden of everything else that's going on in your life, let alone
I
work.
love what Nora's telling me, that she knows her value as a mother and wife. Me too. I'm with you, Nora. And she says, how about empowering stay-at-home moms? That is the hardest job in the entire world. Let me tell you, I have 2 kids myself. I get that. Just to follow up on what you're saying about the challenges, how do we combat these challenges every single day? Like, what would you suggest? Just some practical advice.
I think networking is key. Networking externally, right? Oftentimes we think, oh, it's about finding new people who can help me. I think internal networking is just as important. So making sure that your manager is very aware of what you're doing. So that might mean every week, hey, here's something I did that I'm proud of, or here's some feedback I got, right? Making sure they're aware. It's also making sure that your colleagues, that you know them. That's how going to help you avoid any kind of politics that might happen later, especially now when we're not together. So one-on-one, how are you doing? I heard you've got kids, right? Are you okay? How could I support you? Right? When you understand how other people are operating, you know, what they want, it's kind of like, let me help you help me. Build those relationships now, so that when it's time to ask for something, whether it's a raise, promotion, or another idea, you already have a support system of people who are ready to champion you.
I am so glad you brought that up, because salary talks and being able to ask. I was just thinking about this myself, these awkward conversations. Now, they don't have to be awkward, but how do you make them powerful? How do you empower yourself before you go in there when you know you're worth so much more than what you're getting paid?
I actually think negotiating is a fantastic opportunity, because you're going to talk about how great you are. And this is not bragging. This is you talking about how you've helped the business. Okay. The impact that you've had, saving time, saving money, the contribution you've made to the company culture, who you are, your strength as a person, not just what you do. That's what the focus of the conversation is. The money part, that's research you've done. So the money part isn't emotional. All right. And it's also making sure that you have some backup numbers, knowing that you might get a no. What's the second number you're going to ask for? And you're going to reiterate to them, I know that you pay fairly, even if you don't know. I know that it's important to you to have gender equity. What can we do together to figure this out? Basically, what I'm saying is this is not combative. This is 2 people who want to make it work, and you're just figuring out a compromise.
And what really helped me? I just did this recently, actually, and I wrote stuff down. Like, normally I would just, let me just, either pray or like meditate or get ready. And I actually wrote an outline of my key, you know what I'm saying? Like, structured and then I ended up going off the outline, but at least I had a structure to go back to. I wonder if that also helps a little bit. Do you find that writing it down maybe
Oh,
can help?
yeah, absolutely. There's a woman in the Ladies Get Paid community who made an entire PowerPoint presentation with footnotes, of the market research. And here's what she did. She said, she kind of laughed at herself. She said, I'm taking this really seriously. I love working here. And I also believe in myself. They looked at her like she was such a leader. So again, I think negotiating is a really good opportunity, and not just for your bank account.
Well, guess who's here? Elle, what are people saying?
I'm seeing a fantastic comment from Cynthia that I wanted to bring in. So Cynthia says that some women in the workplace don't always support one another's success, and sometimes it's competitive, but how important is it to actually have that female camaraderie in the office or at work, so you can actually hype each other up and build each other up versus having that competitive nature?
Oh man, listen, life is hard enough. Let's not make it harder on each other. Here's what I suggest everybody do it on Monday. In a meeting, public meeting, give somebody a shout out. I thought Monica had a great idea. That's it. Or you tell Monica's I'm just going to keep using you, Monica. Tell Monica's manager, I think Monica's doing a great job. This is going to take you 1 second. It makes you look good. And also it's demonstrating to everybody, this is the behavior we want to see. So being proactive with that, what is it? You kill with kindness, or, of course you have to protect your boundaries
Yeah,
too, but there's a way to get
that is,
started.
I'm gonna do that. Claire, I'm so doing that in my meeting. And I just want, Teresa says, oh, I love what Teresa's saying. I was a stay-at-home mom, but women live in a man's world and women have been demoted, underappreciated, and underpaid for the same positions as men. It's all about equity and your individuality for your needs. And we all need our essentials. Oh, that's so good, Teresa. Yes, I agree with that. What do you want to say to Teresa?
I want to say that you can negotiate for things other than money. I think what you were sort of pointing out was that it's about holistically, like your value and your life. You can ask for things like paying for the Metro card or gas money, your cell phone, career development. These are things that they want to give you because it's going to make you want to stay at the company. And it costs money for them if you were to leave. So I think we have to remember that it's a relationship that goes both ways. And anybody who's wondering, Claire, I don't have, they don't have money to give me for my salary. Why would they have money to, send me to a conference? Different budgets, especially now. Those budgets that people use for travel, they didn't use this year. They can take some of that and give you a signing bonus.
Claire, let's do a little power round. I have 2 more minutes. So if advice for someone looking for a job right now.
Advice, okay. Well, first of all, let's make sure that you're even going in a direction you want to go to. This is a time where you can reset, right? Find work that is aligned with your values. And then go into depth about, I think, who you are. That's going to make you stand out. Your strengths, your empathy, your patience, you do have to connect it to the impact that you've had. And the last part is networking. And that means cold outreach. That's fine. But if you can get an introduction, I've never gotten a job through an online application, never even got an interview. So networking, networking, networking.
I know, I got it. I totally got it that I need to do more networking. Like it's all about that. And then message of hope. If someone's watching and let's say, they just feel like this has been such a rough patch, they've either lost their job or they're looking for one, they're finding it hard to do. Can you give a message of hope?
Yeah, the message of hope, I think, is that this is the first time and the only time that every single person on this globe has something in common. We've all experienced the pandemic differently, but there is this universal, and there's empathy that comes with that. So I think this is a time to share your story, to ask for help, and people, I think, will be more giving because we all know what it's like to be living through this time.
Yeah. And, I just learned so much. I think you were just such a breath of fresh air for me because, even if you're in a career and you're looking to like, maybe just, be better. You are that woman to me, Claire. And I'm just so inspired by you. I can't wait to check out your book. Again, she has a book and she has a website. We're going to link to all that for anyone watching. There you go. Ladies get paid. Claire, you are fantastic. And thank you for helping empower our ladies tonight and men who are watching too, because I think this could be universal for anyone who needs a job, who wants to be better in their job, who wants to get paid more. Get paid. That's what it's all about. Thank you, Claire. We really appreciate you. And we're making it happen every night at 5:45. Good night, everybody.